Thabang tried everything any high school girl would do to get a guy's attention, but Jarryd just wouldn't notice her.
He was very quiet, so
Like I
I
said.
couldn't get his attention,
Yeah.
so I had to do the approaching.
Everyone had an opinion about their relationship, and it really knocked their confidence.
You walk through the mall and then this old aunties just looking at you like, and I'm like, what?
Thabang and Jarryd chose each other despite others' opinions. Now, his Indian family had to experience a new cultural practice, lobola.
We met in high school. Whew, how can I say, grade 12. A weird story, I approached him.
Yeah.
He was very quiet, so
Like I said.
I couldn't get his attention,
Yeah.
so I had to do the approaching.
I could say for me, I was terrified because, like at that time, I'm very like willing to admit I was scared of like female attention. But when Thabang like came up to me, it was God. I was just like hello, and then my forehead got shiny and my hands got sweaty, and I stuttered. Of course, like my mind is blank. I don't remember details, but I'm glad I said hi, hi back. Yeah.
We've been together for 10 years, so that was a while ago. I think it was before the matric dance that we decided to meet each other's families, just so that everyone knows each other and we're not super weird at the matric dance because already, everyone just knows each other's faces. But I think you came to our house.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and met
I
my
did.
granny and my mom and my aunt and my siblings.
And her dad. I met her dad on that day as well, and he shook my hand. He asked me first, "Do you drink?" And I was somewhat proudest moment. I said no. And then he asked, "Do you smoke?" No, I don't smoke. So I think he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, they don't either." So no trouble on the nights, and he's trusting me and stuff like that. So
I met your parents when we went on our first date. The biggest culture shock for me was the food. But I loved it, that's the thing. When I moved in after 2018, after we did our lobola, I moved right in, and that was the culture shock, was the food, the environment. Jarryd's parents were like super different to what I was experiencing. But I think mostly the food was the biggest culture shock. One thing that I like the most about Jarryd, he is very patient and very kind. I think, for me, that was like totally different. It's something that I didn't really experience growing up, especially from my dad's side. And he was literally my rock the whole time. Most annoying thing? So many. I'm joking. Jared's messy. I think that's the first thing that I think of. He can be very messy at times.
Messy.
Yeah.
That's it. That's okay. That's not bad.
That's not too bad.
It's not bad. The thing I like the least is Thabang's tardiness. Like time, and my favorite thing about her, I would say, is her heart and her smile. Like I know, like when I see
one thing, baby.
One thing. Okay, her smile, because it's like when I see her smile, everything is okay for that moment or for those minutes that she's smiling. And we find ourselves in the front of this huge dam in Drakensberg. And I'm like, we're not going to make the waterfall, and I can't hold onto this ring, which was under her seat for the whole week in the car. For the whole week under her seat, I was praying, don't break too hard. That thing will come sliding out, and then what am I going to say? So it was all of those things running through my mind, and I'm like, you know what, it's a beautiful place that we're in. I wanted it to happen today, and then I just went and got the ring. My hands are shaking. I
was
couldn't.
so confused.
I didn't go down on one knee because there was so much of noise in my head, and my mom's around me. Like I can hear in the distance saying, "Video, he's gonna do it. Video, he's gonna do it." And I'm standing there, and I'm like shaking, and I'm trembling, and my heart is like even like jumping in my chest. And I just decided to say to her, I was like, I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And it was short and simple, and I showed her the ring, and I gave it to her, and I was like, will you please marry me? And then she started crying and crying.
I'm
and
a
crying.
crier.
Yeah.
It was so unexpected. I didn't expect it at all. Because again, like we've had our lobola already, so we're traditionally together already. So yeah, that was a big shock.
So the conversation with my family, I sat my parents down, and my parents were like, yeah, 100%, how do we do it? What do we need to do? I didn't have any uncles, so my dad and my brother were there for the negotiations, and that's how it went. That's how the conversation went. I just sat them down, and it was like, this is how it's going to happen. This is the process we need to follow to respect her family's culture, and they will do the same for us. It was just those things of like the nitty-gritties, and like you know, there's a whole process when it comes to lobola negotiations in terms of
You first write the letter.
you write the letter.
Yes.
We wrote the letter. I saw a beautiful rose in your garden type thing, and then I was speaking to her granny about it, and she's like, you don't have to use those words, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So my dad with the great handwriting wrote the letter, exactly what I wanted to say, and we submitted it.
Submitted.
Yeah, because it is an approval process. There's a similarity in the Indian culture called dowry, where I'm not too familiar with it, but it's similar. They bring jewelry and gold in terms of like a lobola payment. That's a dowry payment to honor the family, so they were very familiar with the concept of it.
Jarreyd's family is not very traditional. They're Christian, so there wasn't any pre-marriage things that I had to do. So we went straight to the courts after the lobola to make it official. So we haven't had our big wedding yet,
Yeah.
but we are planning on having one in the future. Yeah, it has to happen.
Yeah, it has to
Yes.
happen.
We need a wedding.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning, us being different races, it did affect me. I think for me, I was just like, there's so many pretty girls. I know a lot of people came for me online when I said this before, but it's not that I did not regard myself as pretty or whatever the case is, but I think Indian women are beautiful. So I used to always have insecurities about that, about, okay, why are you going for a black girl? What is your reason exactly? Because your women are beautiful, stay there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that was the only insecurity that I had, but that was a me problem, not an us problem. Yeah.
It was closed-mindedness. And now when our beautiful union happened, a lot of people had a lot of questions. Some came from concern, but some were just downright closed-minded. That's what had it had an effect on our relationship, because it killed sort of confidence. Like words and questions that shouldn't have been there in any healthy relationship were there. Yeah. I think it was just compatibility. They like Thabang said, they assumed that, you would go for a certain thing based on their perception and the beliefs and ideologies that they had in their mind. So that sort of conflict in their mind had to be expressed or projected in some sort of way.
People used to ask Jarryd all the time, how, why, and those questions, obviously now when you're sitting together, you kind of like reflect like, oh, okay, is it like that different that we're together? Why is it so different? And those are the questions that kind of pop up.
Yeah, and the devil's going to whisper things in your ear. He's going to make certain things louder in your ear just to break that happiness that we had. But thank God that it didn't. And the stares. I think the looks as well.
Yeah, we got a lot of looks.
Yeah, like you walk through the mall and then old aunties just looking at you like... And I'm like, what?
We got some dirty looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're right. We got some dirty looks.
The best advice I got was, I think from my dad, was that marriage is work. And it takes a constant wanting to be in that relationship and wanting to love that person.
I think from my side of the family, the only thing was like, we are young. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure this is your person? Because it is a long-term commitment. So that was like the only concern, is that we're doing it young. But I think me and Jarryd were very confident from get-go. We got very close very quickly, so we knew what we wanted to do. But yeah, the aunties and the grannies are just like, hey, are you sure? Because of their experiences, A lot of women in my family didn't have the best experience when it came to marriage, so that's where it was coming from. You didn't get any backlash?
No, I didn't. I was blessed enough to have a really good relationship experience, because I hadn't dated before. So, that's how I believe that God was in this. From the moment she greeted me to now, there's no denying it. There's no denying it, yeah.
I think a lot of people glamorize marriage and glamorize relationships, so they don't necessarily speak about the downs. It's only about the ups. So in our relationship, when we experienced the downs, it was like, okay, what's happening? What's going on? What do we do moving forward? And we had to kind of like learn from each other and learn what we needed in those moments. Because childhood trauma will bring up a lot of things, especially in the relationship. So, yeah, we had to deal with a lot of that in our relationship, communicating, really speaking to each other about what's in our hearts and what's in our minds, because those things people can hide the truth. But yeah, I think our openness to wanting to communicate and wanting to speak and being honest with each other even when we're not happy and we need certain things to be changed, we were always open with that. But I think that could, I don't think people much as prepare you for that, the conversations that you'll be having when you guys are not okay and you just don't want to see each other in those moments, or you don't want to speak, or But I always say that I see my relationship as an example to other relationships, that, okay, if I was fighting with my mom, how would I deal with this? Would I just cut her off? Or which you can't. So I see my relationship the same way. That we have to go through the motions, whether it's ugly or good, go through it without judgment. I think that was the biggest thing. Yeah, being ourselves even in those moments where we're not looking so pretty, but not judging each other for that and giving each other grace in moments.
Being in a relationship this long, there's more and more and more that you get to love about a person. It's like a video game. As you progress, you sort of unlock new things. And yesterday we were talking about it, like Thabang made this cheese sauce, and I was like, this is what 10 years unlocks. And it was extremely delicious. Thabang and I love food.
I think it's as simple as it is. The only way we overcome is by speaking and talking and communicating exactly what's going on, and not hiding anything or being scared to tell each other how we really feel about things. Yeah, that's the only way we found that we get over things, is by really speaking to each other with honesty.
Every time we're in an argument, I'm the type of person that goes to, we need to solve this now and come up with a solution. And Thabang is the type of person who's like, she needs a space. And learning to respect that as well, learning to respect your partner. In not just when people are around, but when you're behind closed doors, because that's when the biggest things happen. But mostly, it's the want. It's I want to love my partner. I want to stay married to her. I want to probably die first, so I don't get to experience losing
that's so
her.
dark. No, let's not go
It's
there.
just those things. It's like an internal drive. Like it's love. So God has been my biggest asset in life, in our relationship. Yeah. God is number one for me.
Yeah, I agree. Advice that I would give interracial couples is do it. Family will always have a say. People will always have a say, but ultimately what matters is what you truly want. And if that person is of a different skin color, what difference does it make? Go for it.
Yeah, never doubt. Just full send.
I knew
All
you
the
were about
way.
to say that.
Yes, it's something I believe in. You don't doubt. There's no half sends. There's no, I want to be with you, but I can't tell my family. There's none of that. You send it full. And whoever doesn't want, we'll sort it out.